Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes and I'm back again with one of my random horror reviews. In today's episode we have a movie from a franchise I have visited before here in my random horror review series. I would have done part 2 roughly a year ago, so it has been a little while since I've done one of these movies, but I'm excited to get around to this one. So today's film is Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss. If you're unaware, the first Prom Night movie was a straight up slasher movie. Prom Night 2 is a supernatural slasher, and this one is also a supernatural slasher. It is a continuation from the second movie. Same characters, somewhat. Mary Lou's back. Again, got nothing to do with the first Prom Night, but a continuation from Prom Night 2. I just wanted to clear that up. But before we get into my thoughts of this movie, let's quickly get into the plot. So in this one, we have our lead character Alex, and he's sort of weirdly depicted because he's not popular in school. However, he's not like a nerd or bottom of the barrel. Like, he's really smart and he wants to be a doctor, but he's failing classes. But he's on the football team, but he still gets picked on somewhat. He's sort of like in the middle. It's hard to say if he's like a nerd or not. Like, it's weirdly depicted. But either way, at a certain point, things aren't really going his way. However, Mary Lou, who, if you don't remember, is from Prom Night 2, she was the villain in that one, she escapes from hell, and things start to go Alex's way in his life, and he's not really sure what's going on. And it turns out Mary Lou, now that she's escaped hell, picks Alex to be her boyfriend, and that's why things are starting to go his way. However, she is killing people along the way, and that's sort of why things are starting to turn around for him, and he's not happy that people are obviously dying. So that's the story for this one, and let's quickly get into my thoughts of Prom Night 3 now. So the literal opening scene for this movie really sets the pace for it, and once you see this opening scene, you're gonna sort of know what type of film you have going forward. The opening of this one is Mary Lou and a bunch of other girls having a prom dance in hell, and they're all chained up, and there's fog, and it's really dark, and the walls are gross, the floors are gross, and it's her escaping. And I really do like this opening, because as I said, it just sets the tone for what this movie is. It's going to be this 80s cheese, a bit of fun, not taking itself too seriously, and I just love that opening. I also really like that it's a continuation of the Mary Lou storyline, because I'm not a big fan of the first Prom Night. I do like slashers and everything. I just find that one to be quite underwhelming, especially for a pretty mainstream slasher film. I much prefer to watch Prom Night 2. I find that movie to be more fun. I like the supernatural elements that are mixed in there with slasher elements. So, as I said in this intro, it's a continuation pretty much right from the second Prom Night movie, and I really like that they made that choice because, again, I really like the story going forward in this film. Now, as you may have gathered from things that I've said already in this video, or maybe just from the plot breakdown, they really amp up the comedy aspects from the past installments in the franchise. Pretty much all over this cover, it's got things to allude that it's a horror comedy, a romantic comedy from hell. There's a tagline on the back that also says a romantic comedy from hell. I guess they're really sticking with that tagline, but whatever. So it is a pretty much straight up horror comedy. It's very 50-50, hand in hand. As I said, everything humor and joke-wise is amped up from the first two movies, or at least Prom Night 2, because as I said, it's a continuation from that storyline. And the jokes aren't very subtle, they're quite on the nose. As I said, they really do push the humor in this one, and sometimes it is a little much and a little bit over the top. However, it's nothing to the film's detriment, in my opinion. Yes, not every joke lands, but, it's nothing that really hurts the movie. The type of humor in this, yes, it can be cheesy. Some of the other tones in this movie don't quite fit the humor, but at the end of the day, as I said, I don't want anyone to be scared off by this, because some jokes work. It's just not always a home run, unfortunately, for this one. But I'm happy that they don't sideline the horror aspects in this either, because as I said, the jokes and the humor are amped up, but there's still really cool kills, really fun kills. There's fun gore and that sort of stuff in there also, so they don't completely ditch the horror, but I do want to make everyone aware that the humour in this one is quite amped up. However, as I said, in my opinion at least, it doesn't hurt the film or take any points away from me. Now, a negative that I want to bring up for this movie is actually something, before I say it, I was just thinking, and it's something that I often do bring up in my random horror reviews, and I swear I don't have a problem with long movies, but this movie is too long. The movie just feels like it's about to wrap up right at its peak, and you're like, okay, this is a good way to end it. But then it just keeps going and going, and don't get me wrong, there are highlights in the third act of this movie that I do enjoy. However, for a horror comedy that doesn't take itself too seriously and it's a bit of fun, it is just sort of way too long, and it just ends up dragging, and honestly that is the movie's biggest negative, that it is too long. As I said, I feel weird saying it because this movie is pretty enjoyable, but by the end, it's almost just like too much of a good thing. You're just like, oh my god, this would have been fine if they cut back, honestly, 10-15 minutes, but in the end, it is just a little bit too long, and as I said, that's probably the biggest negative for me in my eyes. But as I said, I'm going to sort of wrap up this review now. This movie's a lot of fun. As I said, the humour might not be for everyone, it really is amped up, but I feel like they do work it pretty well, 50-50. Maybe slightly, I wish there was a bit more horror, but, you know, I'm a horror fan, so obviously that would have been nice. But just thinking back, there are a lot of fun parts. I really like the part kind of near the start of the movie where they're reopening the gym, and the principal is like saying some really dumb stuff, but it's so funny, and then he just ends up, I think he cuts one of his fingers off while he's slicing the ribbon to open the gym, and it just turns into like total batshit. It's so weird, but it's funny, as I was like genuinely laughing out loud. As I said, the humor's not going to be for everyone, but I do enjoy it. There was a point I was going to say. As I said, I'm happy that they don't sideline the horror fully. Yes, I would have liked a bit more horror elements amped up, but as I said, it doesn't hurt the film too much. Sometimes with horror comedies, I feel like they can sideline a good story as well, just because they want to put more and more jokes in there, which I don't feel like they do, because the story in this one rocks. I really like how Mary Lou is trying to win Alex over, and he isn't fully against it because Mary Lou is very attractive and she's doing great things for him, but on the other hand, people are dying, so I really do like the storyline in this one as well. But as I said, the biggest detriment in this movie is that it's way too long, so I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. Quite an enjoyable movie. 6 is not a bad score, guys. As I said, I would recommend this one, especially if you have seen Prom Night 2 and did like it. This is a good continuation of that storyline, so check this one out if you haven't seen it. Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss. So there we go, guys. Thank you for joining me again in this random horror review. Hopefully, if you haven't seen this movie before, guys, I sold it to you as well, because I think I have heard a lot of people say they do actually enjoy Prom Night 2. However, I don't hear many people talk about Prom Night 3 or Prom Night 4, even though I haven't actually seen the fourth one. But if you do like Prom Night 2, this will be right up your alley. As I said, it's a continuation from the second one. Yes, the humour is amped up a lot more. It's a lot more campy, a lot more cheesy. But still fun. As I said, I actually can't get that scene out of my head now with the principal in the gym, because that actually was hilarious. He's talking about dumb... I think he's actually referencing what happened in Prom Night 2 and how the gym burnt down, and he's saying it so casually, but it's so fucking funny. Either way, as I'm getting off topic, this is a fun movie. It's not gonna be Oscar worthy, of course. It's dumb, it's cheesy, it's just 80s camp goodness, but really enjoyable. And I'd like to see a lot of people let me know if you've seen this movie in the comments below, your thoughts on it, because I think it's fun. I'd like to see people that haven't checked it out, check it out, because it's a good movie. But thank you for joining me again, guys, and I'll see you for another random horror review soon. Peace.